Hey guys, it's Alessio, hope you're well. Could this be the most scary chart right now in finance? You see guys, what I'm going to show you in this video is something that has not happened for 16 years. And this could have a major implication for the mother of all bubbles. I think you know what I'm talking about. I'll explain to you what that means in a few moments. And I'm going to explain to you why this could be a major warning for the overall economy and the major markets, and what it potentially may mean for you and me as well in the near future. Join me. Alright guys, welcome back. Before we begin, let me tell you about how you can win a free membership for 6 months to our leading trader premium service, our premium videos and updates. And by the way, you can do that by registering on the link for our sponsor, Masterworks. The link is in the description below. So let me just give you more details and also about our sponsor, Masterworks. With over 75 years of art buying experience, Masterworks is one of the largest buyers in the art market today. In fact, Masterworks has emerged as the only platform taking billionaire art collectors head on and lets you access their exclusive investments. Simply put, you can now invest in the very same art they do by names like Banksy, Monet, Basquiat, and other iconic artists for just a fraction of what they pay to purchase. Masterworks knows what they're doing when it comes to selling art. In fact, since 2020, Masterworks has sold 3 paintings, with each returning over 30% net IRR to their investors. And their new offerings usually sell out in hours. Again, we need to remember that contemporary art prices have outpaced the S&P 500 total return by 164% from 1995 to 2021. Getting started with Masterworks is super easy and just takes a few clicks. You visit their website, create an account, browse their artwork, and you can diversify your portfolio with one of the most stable assets around. If you don't want to wait until you find a buyer, Masterworks also offers a secondary market on their website where you can sell your shares to another member, similar to how you would sell your stock like Apple or Tesla on an app like Robinhood. So now with Masterworks, you can get set up with just a few clicks. Simply go to the link in the description, which takes you to the website, sign up, create an account, and then browse their paintings. You can then diversify your portfolio with fine art. And again, remember, nothing is risk-free, so make sure you decide responsibly. Now, as I mentioned before, when you register on their website using the link in the description, what Masterworks will do is they will randomly select 2 names from the total list of registrations, and those 2 people will then win a free membership for 6 months to our leading trader premium service. So guys, make sure you go ahead and register on that link in the description today. I want to thank Masterworks for sponsoring this video and also for giving us the opportunity to help our charities. Alright guys, let's get back to the video. Now before we take a look at this chart you're seeing here and what it potentially means for the mother of all bubbles, and also about the potential warning sign for the economy and the major markets and what it potentially means for you and me, let me first of all give you some background and some context. You may remember from a film, actually you may have seen this film called The Big Short. Now, if you read the book or you've seen the film The Big Short, you probably know what the story is about. And if you haven't seen the film, let me just give you a brief summary of what it's about. This actually is a true story of a group of traders who back in the year 2005 and 2006, they learned that the property market, the real estate market in America is in big trouble. Remember guys, this is before the subprime mortgage crisis and at least 2 or 3 years before the financial crisis of 2008. So back in the year 2005, certain traders like Michael Burry and Mark Baum, they learned that the property market, the real estate market in America is in big trouble. And in fact, they learned that the bubble in the property market, the real estate market is about to burst because it's really going up on nothing, on puff. So traders like Michael Burry and a number of other traders, they started placing bets against the property market, the real estate market. As you know, this is what's called shorting the market, or shorting in this case, the property market. So again, back at the time, these were only a group of traders, a few number of traders who had learned the bubble in the housing market was about to pop and essentially collapse. Now, here's the thing guys. There was actually a number of charts, for example, this one I'm going to show you in a few moments, which was giving us clues as to what traders were doing behind the scenes. Notice, as you can see from this chart, the Homebuilders Index, or XHB, that there was actually a major top in the price of XHB, the Homebuilders Index, and the price dropped by about 30% in the year 2006. Again, remember, this is back at the time when these group of traders were placing bets against the housing market. And guys, as I'm sure you know, this is why technical analysis or chart analysis is so important. As Bernard Baruch once said, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. Because you see guys, the news about the housing market collapse and the subprime mortgage crisis, that came out much later. That came out in 2007 and then in 2008 with the collapse of Lehman Brothers and a number of other major banks. But you see guys, back in 2006, we were already seeing a major significant drop in XHB, the Homebuilders Index, which was giving us an important clue that something was not quite right with the housing market, with the property market, especially the US housing market. Notice a 30% drop here in XHB. And by the way, let me also mention something else here. You're probably wondering, why am I looking at the Homebuilders Index as opposed to, for example, the real estate index or something like that? Well, you see guys, the Homebuilders Index actually can be a very important leading indication for what may potentially happen in the housing market. So this particular index, the Homebuilders Index, can give us significantly important clues as to the health of the housing market or the real estate market, again in this case the US housing market. So that's why we pay attention to it, because it's so important. So the bottom line is, guys, back in 2006, notice that first of all you see a 30% drop in XHP, the Homebuilders Index, in 2006, showing to us that, again, certain traders were betting against this market, again, shorting this market. Then we had a major bounce. Notice the bounce, you can see it's quite important. We had a major bounce here of at least more than 3% in this particular index, and then another big drop, which occurred, as you can see, the following year in 2007. And by the way, that's important because that next drop showed to us, by taking out the prior low, when it took out the prior low, that indicated a high probability that we're in a downtrend and was warning us that the health of the housing market is not so great, actually it's in big trouble. And of course, the rest is history. We then had the financial crisis of 2008 and the bear market of that year as well. By the way, notice that when XHP, the Home Builders Index, essentially bottomed out in 2009 and then began an uptrend, that essentially was giving us a high probability that now we're in an uptrend in the housing market as well. So this index can be very useful to us in giving us potential clues as to a top and also potential bottom in the property and housing market. Now, let's take a look at the chart of XHP right now. So here's something very interesting you can see here on the Home Builders Index. First of all, you can see a major nice uptrend, a nice quite rally here in XHP, the housing market. In fact, you can see the housing market in the US got overheated, quite a bit heated here. You can see last year there's quite a lot of strength and quite a nice rally here in XHP, the Home Builders Index, which, as I'm sure you know, it's not surprising given the heated property market, the real estate market in America. Again, house prices have been surging over there. But here's the thing. Notice that XHP made a peak there quite recently over the last few months. As a matter of fact, I think it was the beginning of this year or at the end of last year. And by the way, since making that high, it has dropped by about 30%. In fact, it is down now approximately 30% from that peak there. Now, here's something else. Notice where it's resting. It's resting just very close to that trend line support. That trend line support you can see on the chart there. Again, a very important support level. So the bottom line here is this. We've seen a major correction, again, in the Home Builders Index, XHP, which could potentially be a major warning of something we saw, again, about 16 years ago, back in 2006, with, again, this chart I showed to you, and of course the story regarding the big short. However, guys, I don't want to give the impression here that this is exactly like back in 2006 or what happened afterwards with the housing crash. I think it's too soon to call that, or actually too soon to imply that. For one thing, we haven't had a major bounce. Remember, 16 years ago, back in 2006, after the 30% drop here in XHP, that wasn't just it. We then had a major bounce, a significant rally you can see there, and then followed by another drop, essentially indicating to us a lower low and therefore a downtrend and, of course, a bear market. We need to wait for some kind of a bounce or rally about 3% or more in the next several weeks or months. Again, that's needed to make sure that we don't fall into the trap of thinking that this is by itself a downtrend. It's not. At the moment, this counts as a major correction, okay, as a major retracement to the prior rally. So we must not jump into conclusions and think this is exactly like 16 years ago. No, this is at the moment not yet a downtrend, okay? So far as the correction, back to support, again, back to the trend line support. So what needs to happen to confirm or increase the likelihood of a downtrend is first some kind of a bounce, a strong bounce by 3% or more, and then to be followed by another major drop to take out the prior low, whatever low it was that formed before the bounce. And then if that happens, and again it's an if, so it's by no means guaranteed or certain. So if we see that bounce followed by another major drop, then the probabilities increase quite significantly that something quite similar is happening to back in 2006, 2007. And yes, potentially it's giving us a major warning sign that the property market, the real estate market, the mother of all bubbles is in big trouble and the bubble may potentially burst soon. So please don't fall into any kind of confirmation bias and think, well, this by itself is enough. It's not enough. Okay, I know it looks pretty bad, but again, remember, this could still be a correction. Okay, a correction perhaps to be followed by new highs. The bottom line is it's not by itself enough. Let's wait and see what happens in the next several months and weeks. And by the way, even if XHP, the Home Builders Index, goes into a downtrend or a bear market, remember, that does not necessarily mean that the economy and the stock market is going to fall into a bear market also. Remember, back in 2006 and 2007, when the Home Builders Index went into a downtrend, as you can see here, this happened about a year before the major financial crisis and the bear market of 2008. So sometimes you see major warning signs in this particular index, the Home Builders Index, at least a year or two before it plays out in the stock market and also in the economy. So that's why it's a good idea to pay attention to this chart. Again, that's why I say it's potentially the scariest chart right now in finance. All right, guys, thank you very much indeed. Again, don't forget to register for Masterworks on a special link you can see in the description. Thank you very much indeed. Bye for now.